What up, sports fans of Waxon Wednesday? Jay Waxman, Tyler Lavalette, two guys talk sports. Let's rock and roll. First off, I just want to say, another Blackhawks game come and gone. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. For those of you who don't know, me and Tyler Lavalette, along with Logan Lavalette and his girlfriend Samantha, we went to the Blackhawks Red Wings game on Sunday, and we all had a great time. Me and Tyler Lavalette, we will talk more about that on our Friday Roundtable podcast in 2 days' time. So, what I'm going to focus on with this game is one particular takeaway that's been on my mind with this game. So, Blackhawks played really well. I'm happy about that. Went on the road and got a huge win against the Red Wings. But the one thing that stuck out to me, and it's not just Connor Bedard. Now, the focus here is not just Connor Bedard. All right, Connor Bedard had a great game against the Red Wings, but he's not what I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about is the Blackhawk who I am thinking about scored his first career NHL goal on Sunday, and his name is Oliver Moore. And Oliver Moore, he made his debut this season about 2 games before the game against Detroit and Chicago. This was his 3rd game of the season, and I just gotta say, this game that I saw him in, he was at his very best. And not just because he scored against the Red Wings, and it was a garbage time goal. Okay, say what you will, but in that game, I noticed in the game that me and Tyler Lavalette, along with Logan and Samantha, the game that we were at, I noticed that Oliver Moore, he was getting a lot of minutes. They were putting him out on the ice quite a bit, and I noticed he was attacking in the offensive zone. Like, he was putting himself in position to find the net. And he was all over it, to say the least. And if you're the Blackhawks, these are things you love to see. You love to see one of your young guys that not only learn and grow it and develop at the NHL level, but you want to see them just full on in attack mode and, get after it to start things off in your NHL career. And Oliver Moore in that game, he was doing that. Like, he was playing some very productive minutes even before he got that first career goal. But he was definitely attacking the net a lot in the offensive zone. So, I shouldn't be too, I saw the goal. I saw that 5th goal. At first I didn't know that he scored. I couldn't tell because I just remember seeing somebody shoot the puck and it went in. It took me a while to realize at first that it was him. Like, I saw him huddling around, celebrating. And then I saw Oliver Moore, and I was like, did he get the goal? And what confirmed it to me was, of course, he's leading the way when they're giving the high fives after a goal. He was the one leading the way, so that indicated to me, okay, first career NHL goal for Oliver Moore. But I shouldn't have been too surprised that I should have seen it coming, really. I just can't say that I would have thought it would have happened late, but considering the kind of game that he was having and the productive minutes he was putting in, I guess it was only a matter of time before Moore got his first NHL goal. And you know what? I'm really happy that I got to see it. That was so cool. I mean, Bedard's goal was great, but out of all my goals, my favorite in that game, my favorite one was Oliver Moore's goal because that's a special one. Your first NHL goal. You're a newcomer to the NHL. You get on the board early on in the season, and now Oliver Moore said it best. It's like a huge weight off his back, and now he can focus on, continuing to grow and be the best player he can be for the Chicago Blackhawks team. And it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up going back to Rockford to play some more productive minutes down there and help the Ice Hogs win the Memorial Cup down there. But, it's also a possibility he could just, it could be a case of not only was he called up from Rockford, but you know what? He may stay here in Chicago the rest of the season because he's been that good. Not only at the AHL level, but the NHL, he's had some productive minutes. And I'm hopeful that he continues to keep this up. What I really like about Oliver Moore's game, he is fast. A lot of experts were saying the Blackhawks, in addition to getting Connor Bedard, when they drafted Oliver Moore, a lot of people were saying the Chicago Blackhawks drafted the fastest player in that NHL draft class. And I could see what they were talking about. I mean, he's lightning fast. Like, he's a really fast skater, got good puck skills, and as I saw in this game, he attacks the net. He's a pure offensive player. He got that firepower, for lack of better words. But watching Oliver Moore play, I liked what I saw from him. And I'm really impressed with the kid, and I just hope I hope his stock only continues to rise from there. A lot to like about his game. Still some things he can learn, but you know what? He will learn these things given experience. So I guess the question now is, will there be a time where he goes back to Rockford, or will he play with the Blackhawks the rest of the season? That remains to be seen, but based on what I saw on Sunday, I'm impressed with Oliver Moore. I've been talking a lot about him. He was one of those guys that I thought could be a really, really good player for the Blackhawks and one of their best prospects. And it makes me happy that early on in the NHL season, he's showing why he was one of, if not the best prospects in this pipeline that the Blackhawks have. And you know what? This pipeline that the Blackhawks have right now is scary good. There's a lot of good players, and Oliver Moore is one of them. There's another guy, Nick Lardis. That's another guy to keep an eye out on for the Blackhawks. But you know what? One of the big reasons why the Blackhawks are doing well is because they're allowing the pipe. They're finally opening up the pipeline and letting some of these guys come and get some minutes. And Oliver Moore is the latest chapter in the Blackhawks opening up their pipeline and letting these rookies show what they got. And I think Oliver Moore brings a lot of promise to this Blackhawks team. In addition to just being fast, he's focused too. Really, so far, really impressed with him. And in that game, he had a lot of productive minutes, and it was nice to see. I know it was a garbage time goal, but it was really great to see Oliver Moore get rewarded for his efforts all game long with a goal, even if it was very late in the game. Hey, he's got that first one, and to Oliver Moore, I say congratulations on your first NHL goal, and welcome to the Chicago Blackhawks. Keep up the good work, man. Looking forward to seeing what more Oliver Moore brings to the table, as well as other Blackhawks prospects. But that's been the biggest thing that I've been thinking about from this game that I went to with the Lavalettes. Oliver Moore, one of the Blackhawks' most promising prospects. And he delivered the goods on Sunday. All right, shifting gears to Purdue basketball. All right. So, it's been a bit of an interesting start for Purdue basketball. They looked great in their first game. Their second game, oh my, they had a scare. We're trying to answer this question. Did Purdue really struggle against Oakland, or is Oakland a better team than people give them credit for? Or you could ask, is Purdue overrated a little bit? Or is Oakland really underrated? A lot of different ways you can ask that. But kudos to Oakland, by the way, for playing their hearts out and making Purdue earn that win at Mackey Arena. That may be a team that could make it to the NCAA tournament. And, of course, they're playing Houston right now, so tough schedule for Oakland. So, good team that's just playing a really tough schedule. But anyways, back to this Purdue team. Okay, so some Purdue fans are very concerned about the start. I personally, myself, I'm not too worried. Just a smidge, but I'm not all that worried about it. Because we're 2 games into the season, and sometimes this just happens in college hoops. Anarchy? Nope, just college basketball. It happens. And here's the thing. Purdue's got a few guys on this team that are new to the system. You got guys like Oscar Clough and Omer Meyer, sorry, I mispronounced the name, and then Liam Murphy. They're still kind of now, Oscar Clough's been playing really, really well for Purdue, but he's still kind of, like the other newcomers to this team, he's still learning the system, so it takes a while to build that chemistry. So that's part of the reason why Purdue didn't play up to the level that they probably should have against Oakland. Or Oakland, you give them credit, they just fought really, really hard in that game. One of the biggest concern right now for Purdue is the rebounding. All right, rebounding against Oakland, and even in the first game, was a bit concerning. Got to be able to rebound the ball if you want to win, especially the big games, and in the Big Ten, of course. So Purdue's going to have to get that figured out. And they got to get big game tomorrow night against Alabama. And they're in Tuscaloosa. So that's not going to be an easy matchup. And if rebounding was a concern for Purdue in their first 2 games, a great team and the number 8 team in the land in Alabama, they will feast off of those rebounds. So Purdue has got to figure out. So Purdue, hopefully, this with a little time off, hopefully Purdue has practiced hard enough and worked hard enough to hopefully correct this to a degree, and hopefully the rebounding will look better on Thursday night against the Crimson Tide. So, and another reason maybe, and here's the thing, everyone's got big expectations for this Purdue team with some of the talent they brought in, but it's still very, of course, like I said, still early in the season, and you know what? Okay, here's the thing. It's not fun being the number one team in the land, okay? It's not easy. Everyone's gunning for you when you're number one. No wonder why Oakland played really well, because they saw that number one on Purdue's back, and they're like, let's go get it. Let's go make their life a living hell. And that's what Oakland did, and props to them. So, I'm okay with Purdue losing the number one ranking. They're now down to number two, and I'm cool with it, okay? I like to think that Purdue does a lot better when they're not the number one team in the land. And that is simply what I believe. And you know what? Right now they're not. Houston deserves that number one ranking, okay? Simple as that, and I'm okay with it, because I'd rather Purdue be number one when it matters most, at the end of the NCAA tournament. Simple as that. So with that being said, so some things that Purdue is going to have to figure out. Got to build some momentum. And Purdue faces a tough road test tomorrow at Alabama. You know what? I hope they win this game. But if they don't, hey, as long as Purdue plays much better than they have as they did in the last game, and they still come up short in Tuscaloosa, okay, fine. I'll be okay with that. I just want to see this Purdue team improve on some areas in this game, and especially in the chemistry and rebounding. Now, if you're a Purdue basketball fan, there is some good news to report, and one that I believe will help the rebounding situation a bit for the Boilermakers. Trey Kaufman-Renn, who has missed the first two games due to a hip injury, I am hearing that he will be ready to go tomorrow. That means that he should finally be making his season debut at Alabama, and probably will be in the starting lineup for the Purdue Boilermakers. Or at the very least, I do think he's going to play tomorrow, and it's looking highly, highly likely that Trey Kaufman-Renn will play in his first game of the season tomorrow. That, I think, should help Purdue in rebounding-wise, because, if anything, Trey Kaufman-Renn, he's an absolute beast in the paint. Not only can he score at will, but he can help get, especially on defense, he can help get those tough rebounds. So, his return should provide a big boost in that area, as well as getting those tough points in the paint. So, there's some hope there for Purdue. So, if there's some good news for Purdue going into a tough road game in Tuscaloosa, it's that Trey Kaufman-Renn is expected to be available for tomorrow's game. Not going to be an easy game, though. So, you got the number 2 team in the land traveling to the number 8 team. That's a gauntlet of a match. And Purdue's non-conference schedule, absolute gauntlet. All right? So, if Purdue wants to have a shot to win Thursday night, got to rebound the ball and capitalize on second chance opportunities. And, hey, there's going to be some points where the three-pointers don't go down. All right? If they don't go down, then drive the ball in the paint. It's not hard, okay? You don't need to take all the threes in the world. Teams are going to dare you to do that. And this should be a good learning lesson for guys like Oscar Clough and Omer Meyer, as well as Liam Murphy, some of the newcomers, to help with this. Another question I'm also starting to wonder going into this game, will Anthony West Jr. play? He's been available, but I have not seen him play any minutes, so I wonder, did Purdue redshirt Anthony West Jr.? Once I learn more about that, I'll tell you more about that. But right now, these are just some of my thoughts heading in. So, there's some question marks around this Purdue team early on in the season. All right, about in terms of whether or not they could really be title favorites. I mean, it's not been the kind of start that Purdue really was hoping for. Even, admittedly, this is not the start that I thought Purdue was going to have. But a win at Alabama could do wonders for this Purdue team. And even if they fall short, if they have a good effort, then all right, so be it. But now to close this off, all right, I know Purdue gets red hot in November to start every season, but you know what? I would rather Purdue have a stone cold November and get red hot in February and March then be red hot in November and get stone cold in February and early March. Simple as that. All right, and speaking of Purdue basketball, we're going to go a little bit into recruiting, and this is the third subject. So I have just learned the Purdue Boilermakers, Matt Painter has landed another 7-footer. That's right. So the rest of the Big Ten right now in terms of recruiting is crying in frustration. He can't keep getting away with it. Apparently he can. Matt Painter's got another 7-footer coming to Purdue as part of the class of 2026. All right, I am going to do the very best I can to pronounce his name because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So, the 7-footer and the newcomer in question is a giant by the name of Sinan Huan. I'll spell it out for you. Sinan and then Huan. So for the record, high school, in terms of high schools, he's playing at Georgetown Preparatory. He currently resides in Rockford, Maryland. Originally, he's from China, and to be more specific, he's from Beijing. So originally from Beijing, China, but he's been living in Maryland the last few years. So very interesting prospect for Matt Painter. He's not as tall as Zach Edey. He's smaller in terms of size, but still, he's a giant. He's 7 foot. Another 7-footer. And he was actually ranked the 36th ranked prospect in the class of 2026. Another high-end prospect for Matt Painter and company. And he joins it. And by the way, I can confirm to you, he has already signed his letter of intent, so he is coming to Purdue for sure. Along with guys like Jacob Weber, Luke Ertel, and Rivers Knight. So that's a 4-man class. So you got a guard, 2 guards, a forward, and of course a center. Another 7-footer. So 4-man class so far for Matt Painter. But this guy from Maryland and originally from China, could be a very interesting get for Matt Painter. You know, here's the thing. From what I hear, he's got some things to work on. But you know what? That's the case for a lot of 7-footers. They got plenty to work on. But from what I heard, this guy... So let me give you a rebound. So, rebounding is a bit inconsistent. And sometimes he isn't much of a post presence at this point and somewhat reliant on others getting him going. But those are just some of his downsides. But so according to Adam Finkelstein on 24/7 Sports, he's a developing southpaw big man with terrific long-term tools, but still putting them all together in order to be consistently productive. Good size, coordination, soft hands, touch, mobility, and can run the floor well. So those are some of the good things. But you know what? I will say this in terms of Sinan, he's come to the right place. You want to develop a big man? Come to Purdue. Come to Matt Painter in Purdue. He'll get you ready to play basketball at the collegiate level. So the guy's got a lot of potential, but he also has a lot of things to work on. But in my opinion, of course, call me biased, he's come to the right place to develop it. Because Matt Painter's track record for developing big men. You know, Matt Painter was the guy that developed Zach Edey into a 3-star recruit, into a college basketball legend. He can do the same with this guy too. And according in an interview with Sinan said that one of the big reasons, of course, he picked Purdue was their ability to develop big men, or their track record for developing big men. So I can respect that. He wants to clearly, he knows he's got some things to work on, and he knows that his best chance to become the best basketball player he can be is at Purdue. Where Purdue is big man U. It's a big man factory. It develops big man players. So here we go again. Another big man. So so from what I can tell, there's promise with this guy. Just a lot of work to mold him into a fantastic college basketball player. But I'm excited for him. I'm excited to bring him on board. You get the guys that want to play for your university. You know what? He wants to play for Purdue, so I welcome him. So, Sinan, welcome to the Boilermaker family. I wish you all the best in your Purdue journey. All right, on to this day in sports history. And on this day, So we are going to go back to 1933 on this one. All right, here we go. On this day, the 12th of November, 1933, the first NFL football game on a Sunday at Philadelphia's Baker Bowl. Sporting events on Sunday around this time had been illegal on Sundays. The Eagles tied the Chicago Bears 3-3. So this is one of the... So 1933 was the year the NFL first had games on Sunday. And of course, keep in mind, sporting events around this time were illegal on Sunday. Sunday is deemed the Lord's Day. And always will be. A little historical nugget. All right, sports fans, that is all I got for this week's Waxon Wednesday. And anything you want to say, feel free to leave it down below. And me and Tyler, we greatly appreciate your support, and we thank you for everything, for you guys, for your interactions, everything. We greatly appreciate that. All right. With that being said, sports fans, I will see you on Friday Roundtable with my man Tyler Lavalette. This is Jake Waxman from Two Guys Talk Sports signing off.